File, new project, Java, Java application, the default one. Next, name of the application,
Minesweeper.
game. Let me remove this check from here. I don't need a main file. And I say finish. So new project is created, but there is no source file, there is a default package. So now what we do, we right click. You can right click on the project name, say new, what we want, JFrame, Minesweeper, GUI. Package, we will specify our package is. Ideally, the naming convention for package is, they say you should create your own unique name. So here I can give it in dot being 0 dot games dot Minesweeper, so that tomorrow if I make another game and I need similar classes, they don't conflict if they are part of one project. So all the files that we are adding, okay, 0 I left O, being ZDR I wrote. So now this is added. If we go into source, we'll notice main is automatically added here. Main is there. So if we run now, we added one frame. Let me save. If I run now, it will say, is this your main file? In IDE, you can have more than one main. You can have 4 files, all of them have main. Easiest way to run it is right click the file and say run. There is a run file menu. That way you can run any file with main. Or if I click on top, run, it will say select the main class. So because we have only one class, we say okay. And this comes up. What is the next thing we want to do? We want to change the title. How do we change? We click frame.
We have unchecked the menu also while creating a new project.
We said don't create main file. So there was nothing. No file was there. I added a class. I added right click and main. Right click and a frame I did, right? JFrame.
But how did main class go?
JFrame in itself has main. So previously when we added a JFrame, that also contained a main. But since we had a main file, we wrote our logic there and we treated that as a main file. So now how do I change the title? Click, go to properties, title property. What should we make it? Then another property that we changed was resizable. We want to make it false. Uncheck. With that we come back, save our project and run it. What does it give? With title and with maximize button disabled. Next step is we drag a menu. Menu is in third box under palette. Swing container, swing control. You come down, this is swing menus. We drag and drop menu bar from right to form, right to frame. So all this that we are adding here, all the UI and their hierarchy is listed here, left side, bottom. So till now we have added a frame. Frame has JMenu bar has menu, and each menu contains menu items. So this is the terminology. Menu bar will contain menu will contain menu item. Right now this menu does not have any menu item. So let me add a menu item also. Right click, add from palette. We right click the menu and we say add from palette. There is a menu item, separator, radio button, checkbox. So let me pick menu item. So another menu item has come. Same help also, we want to add a menu item. Right click, add from template, and we go to menu item. Right? So on UI if we see, there is a JMenu item that has come under edit. There is a JMenu item that has come under file. Right? So just we want to change their names to match our game. So let me right click second menu first. I want to name it help. Under help we want to write about. Okay. So right click, change first edit text and call it help. Right click the JMenu item and say edit text and we want to call it about. Okay, then we go on to this, right click, edit text, new game, right click menu, edit text and say game. After new game, let's add a quit also. Exit. So we go to first menu, game, right click, add from palette, menu item. But generally if you see, new and quit has a line between it in most of the software. So that is a separator. So we insert a separator first. Again we right click, say add from palette, and now we insert a menu item. So there will be a separator between quit and new game. Right click, edit text, quit. So with this, our bare minimum menu is also ready. We save. Another thing is, because with these menus we will be dealing with in code, we want to name them properly. So we want to keep variable names so that we can understand when we are writing code. J menu 1, 2, we will not be able to differentiate what was 1 for, what was 2 for. So we right click our menu and say change variable name, mnu game. We right click second one and say mnu help. First menu item we right click and say mni. This is menu item, so I just want to differentiate. mni new game. Separator we don't want to rename because we will never need that in code. Right click second menu, that is mni menu item quit. The last one, change variable name mni about. So now all the variables are named correctly. We save it, run it. Now our window has menu, game, help. New game, quit, under game, help has about. Perfect. So with this, next step is also done. Now what we want to do, we want to write code for about menu. In about menu, under help about, what do we want to show? We want to show a dialog should come. We should say author of this game is me. Yes, you should have your name added. That means you want to show a dialog. So dialog is another class in Swing. J option pane. So we'll see. You click help, you click about. When you double click here, it will automatically create a method. I am double clicking this about. We come to code. It says whatever code you write here, that will be executed when someone presses about menu. So after coming here, all we have to do is we just want to show a dialog. So existing class we will be using. Just one line of code, it is J option pane dot show message dialog. Now show message dialog has some parameters. First parameter is this dialog that you are saying, who is parent of this? Parent of the dialog. So current frame is parent. So we'll say this. We'll see the documentation later. So for this dialog that we are saying current is the parent. It means when we close our frame, dialog will automatically go away. That's why this linking is there. Who is parent, who is child. Second parameter, okay, it adds some things automatically. We will not use that. I'll delete this. I'll put comma. I'll use control space. Control space is for auto completion. When I hit control space, it tells me how many method signatures are there for show message. So we will use third one or second one. Second one takes parent, your message, title of the box, and message type. So parent we have given this. Second we want to give message. We want to say author as Krishna said my name. Okay, so that is message. Third we want to give title. What should be the title of a small dialog that comes? About. Let's say about. You can put any string you want. Then last is an integer, control space. Last is integer message type. This message is an information, warning, or error. What is this message? Information. So J option pane has some constants defined for these integers. So rather than using 1, 2, 3, we can use J option pane dot information underscore message. So if we put this is a constant way of, like we did hash define in C. This is kind of hash define. For now you can assume this is a hash define equivalent. So what we are saying is, just show this as an information that I am the author, show this dialog. If you click OK on dialog will go away automatically. That functionality is also built already. So with this we save it, we come back to design and we run it. We could have run there also. So in Minesweeper, click help, click about comes, because we said it is information, I icon is coming. Author Krishna. Now we want to make one more addition to it. With author, we also want to print version of our software. So I'm splitting that in multiple lines. So after author Krishna, do a new line /n version 1.0. Right? So that means our message will be printed on 2 lines. First, then /n, second. So let's run it again. Help, about. So now we are seeing about dialog is coming with author and version information. Right? So this J option dialog is a very useful class. Sometimes when user performs some action, we want to show error. We say enter a number in a text box. He enters a string. We can check and we show error. How do we show error? In last, rather than writing information message, we can say error message. Now if we run it, even for about, it will show us error. About, see, this is right, this is red. Right? But this is an information, so we don't want to put that. It got edited somehow.
So if we want a blank screen, means dialog box should have white space and it should write that one.
White, it should have a white space.
White space and it should write author like a notepad.
Mm-hmm.
It should.
Oh,
it should
you mean text box?
yes,
Okay, then J option pane you will not use, because that has fixed templates. You will create your own frame. Your frame will have actual frame as a parent, and on that frame you can drag drop button, text box, or whatever you want. That we will see when we build our UI. I think we are not going to use text boxes, because ours is a game with buttons. But that you can build. Next, when you go home, you can try. You create a frame. There are other controls here that we have not explored. And the controls are on top. If you go, swing controls are written, right? So there is a button group. There is a text area. Text area is a paragraph that we have added. If we run it now, okay, it's running already. Let me close this first. If we run it now, you see there is a text area. You can type here. There is a label also. You say username is a label, and then there is a text box. Password is a label. There is a separate text box for password, and that also will be there. You see password field. Anything you type in this will not be shown. Text will not be shown. Only dot dots will come. So all these controls are here. Any kind of UI you want to make, now it will be easy. So let me remove these two. I click delete. So now we have added a menu. What is next step? One menu is functional also. Next we want to have those buttons created so that we can complete our UI. So I talked about when we are adding buttons, we'll not add directly on the frame. We'll add it on a panel. Panel will be added to the frame. Right? So this code we will write on our own. We go to source. In frames constructor, because this is the first code that runs, there is a function that ID inserted automatically in init components. In init components, it has added all the code till now. Menu bar we added, menu item we added, all that is in init components, and we cannot edit it. So NetBeans disables it for us. If I want to delete something, it's not allowed. So if we want to write anything, we can write after this. So what we want to create? We want to create a panel. So panel we will add at a class level. This also gives you a feature of plus minus. If you do minus, the code is closed, so that you can take a look at big file also. Any function also you can compress. collapse and open. So let us use the convention on top of the file. Here also it added all this. So I deleted all that comment. So what we want to do at a class level, we want to add a member jpanel. Jpanel buttons panel, right? Here if you see, it is giving us some indication, cannot find symbol jpanel, because in Java we know if we are using a class we have to import its package or we have to import the class. So the line for this we have to write is, on top we have to write import javax.swing.jpanel or javax.swing.star. Star means include all the files of that. But IDE gives that feature also to us. If I click here, it says first help is add import for javax panel. I'll show you. Add import for javax.swing.jpanel. If I click this, it will automatically add that. So anywhere you are making mistake, it will give you an indication. You can use its help. Click that and say you do that work for me. And reason they have built it like this is so that we can focus on our logic rather than syntax. Because Java comes up with 3,000 or more classes. So how many classes you will remember? Each class will have 40 methods in it. So rather than remembering that, use a dot, automatically comes. Pick one of that. So buttons panel is something we have taken. So we would want to create that. But if you remember on Minesweeper, there is a smiley in between. What does that mean? Restart the game. Or whenever we go click file, new game, it will restart the game. So every time this button panel has to be created from scratch. Because later on we will add functionality of easy game, media game, intermediate and hard game. That means first time panel will be smaller. When you go to intermediate, it will become bigger. When you go to harder, it will become bigger. So this game has 3 versions. I'll show you what I mean by that.
Yesterday changed it as DNA.
Yeah. Not D, I think now it will be D. Java presentations, Minesweeper. Oh. Yeah. So this is the expert board where 30 by 16 buttons are there. 30 rows, 16 columns. And mines are 99 in the biggest board. So these are the 3 versions. If we are building, that means every time panel will have dynamic number of buttons. So that's why panel we did not drag and drop. We could have done that, but panel every time will be of different size with different buttons. All that we want to add dynamically. Yeah, so coming back, we added, okay, we have to create a buttons panel. That we will do in another method, which will be a new game method. So now we are adding a method for new game. So let me create a method first. Void new game, and that we will call from here. And all the work that we want to do for a new game we'll do there. So we'll see if buttons panel is already added. If this is not null, then first remove old buttons panel because we want to create it fresh and add it. Clear? Then we have to create new panel. Buttons panel equals new of jpanel. And because in this panel we want to add so many buttons in the form of grid, we'll set layout manager. Buttons panel dot set layout is a function, and here we say new grid layout. So we have set the layout of our button panel to grid layout.
If the panel already has some elements in it,
It will not have because we created it.
means
So
by chance if it has
they will be deleted. They will go away. That panel is deleted. Now we are creating new panel that will be added. So when new panel is created, we have set its layout. Now only thing remaining is add buttons, and after that we'll do this dot content pane. This is our frame. We are in the frame class. This dot get content pane. Let's get content pane dot add buttons panel. So first, if it was there, we removed it. Then we created a new panel, we set its layout, and then we'll add buttons. That is the missing code now, and ultimately we'll add this button panel too, right? So what should be the size of this button panel when we are adding? It should have some size also, right? 9 by 9, but it has 9 buttons. Width of a button into 9. If one button is of size 40 by 40, then 40 into 9, those many buttons we want to accommodate, that will be the size. So I'll say buttons panel dot set size. It takes width and height. Okay, it automatically filled width and width. So we need how many rows, how many columns we are adding?
9 rows, 9 columns.
Okay, in grid layout also we should have said that. When we say grid layout, there itself it can take this from us, width and height. So here we say rows, and after rows we say columns. How will these rows and column come to us? That should also be written on top. Int rows, cols, mines. These 3 variables at board level we want. In frame we want to keep track of these 3 things. So grid layout we have set. Size will come to later on. For now we want to worry about adding buttons. So what is buttons? Can we say it's an array, 2-dimensional array? So we'll create it as an array so that it's easy to go to any button. So let's define that also. J button. Swing has all the elements as buttons. J button, buttons, array. Do we declare like this, or it comes in the beginning? Or either is fine. I'm not sure about the syntax.
Either is fine. Either is fine.
Either is fine. Okay. So now what we do, we say buttons equals new J button. How many buttons? Rows, columns. By default, let's say when our board starts, we'll start with 10 by 10 board. Rows 10, columns 10, and mines by default will be 9. That is the easiest board of Minesweeper. Or it is reverse, I think. It's 9 rows, 9 columns, and 10 mines. Yeah, it's 9, 9, 10. So 9 rows, 9 columns. So when we come here, those many buttons we have just created the array. But we have not created each and every button. Each element of this array, it's like we have declared an array of pointers, but not each memory has some address. So now we want to actually create buttons. Here we have a flexibility. Int I we can write here. For int I 0, I less than rows I plus plus. For int j equals 0, j less than cols j plus plus. What we have to do?
Initialize the buttons.
Buttons of I j equals new j button, and we will use a constructor of button which takes image from us. So let me define another member, image icon, and say closed. When our buttons are closed, lots of classes, but we'll explain tomorrow. I just want this UI to be ready so that tomorrow we can focus on the backend part and merging part. So this video you will have to see 3-4 times. So image icon, and let's keep it null for now. So some image we want. All the buttons should have some image on that. Either red color, green color. Girls will take pink, boys will take blue. You can design your game like that. Again it says image icon you are using, it's there in a package. We click this, say import statement. So image icon also we get, and let me name it as capital. Okay, fixed. So we say you take closed, and that with that image you create a button. Now button is created, but button and panel are different. So what we have to do? Button has to be added to panel. So next line we say, and in object-oriented code, it's very logical. We created a button, button should be added to panel, panel should be added to frame. So buttons panel dot add, there is an add method, and we say buttons of I, J. Right? So after all the buttons are added, our UI will be kind of ready. We just have not specified what is our image file.
You have to add it on
Add
frame
panel
also.
to-
Oh sorry, panel also we have not added to frame. This dot, oh panel is already added, on top I did that. Before this loop, I added buttons panel. But ideally it is better to add buttons to the panel first, and then panel should be added to frame. So on frame, there are many, on one frame, there are many layers on which you can add elements. One layer is called content pane, another is called palette. That's how you see in NetBeans window, there are multiple small windows. Something is connected to a palette of it, and that was what that image in slides was talking about. A layered pane has multiple layers, and content pane is one of them. Frame content layer in the end is content pane. Menu bar gets attached onto a different layer. So that is swing detail. We will not need for our thing. Just be aware, like we are connecting our element to content pane. Ideally, if I do this dot add buttons panel, that will also work. But we just want to make sure we are adding to content pane. So with this, our button should be added, but button will not show the image because that we have not added. So let's save it and run it and see. Nothing is appearing. Why? We added so many buttons.
You haven't.
Everything else.
We haven't set it to visible, sir. Visible to panel.
Panel is not visible because panel size we have not set. The panel when it is created very small. We added buttons to it. Buttons are also there on that, but size we have not increased, so it is not coming on the screen. So that's the line I was adding, and then I stopped. So let's add the size of our buttons panel. Buttons panel dot set size, that is there. What is the size of that? Rows into size of a button. So let's give size of button will be equal to the size of image that we put on that. That is what we want. So let me define int image size. Let's put image size as 40 by 40. Okay. So rows into, now set size take width and height. So it should be rows into image size or columns into image size. This is width. Columns into. Yeah. So when we are specifying width, we have to remember this is columns, and then rows into done. Now let's run and see. Wow, something comes up, but image is not there. That's fine, and even size is not fitting right now.
So what if we
So click on that button, sir.
Yeah, nothing will happen.
sir, if we click check that resizable box,
Then okay, then also we'll see. So Krishna has a question. If we made it resizable, where is that check? Here. And then we run it, what will happen? So this is coming, we are able to resize it. We are able to resize this also, but looks ugly. That's why we disabled it. Now if you notice, each button has some space between them. That's why when we set the size, width and height, still it is not fitting in because spaces are taking some extra space. So we'll have to do some calculation and add that also. But for now we have added buttons. We'll worry about that later. Now next piece that we want to build for today is we just want to show an image here. With that we will close for today. Here quit also is not exiting. Close is working, but quit we have not implemented because these menus that we have added is our responsibility. So in quit we will do system.exit. Here also we have. Anyways, so come to image. So images that I gave you, it is uploaded onto our drive, and I gave you a pen drive also. There is the images folder. So let me directly go to images, desktop. Where is Minesweeper images? Images. So what I'm doing is I'll copy these images directly and I'll paste where our project is created. So our project gets created in documents, NetBeans project, Minesweeper. Oh, this is not the one. Minesweeper game. In this folder, this is folder of your project. You right click and you paste the images folder. Now you know all your images are under images. And let's say closed is the button we are picking. So we want to get the size of this. Shift, right click, copy as path. We go back to code and image that we created, we say new image, paste it. Our image is in this path. Here also we have to make slashes double, and we don't need to give complete path because that is part of our project, so even half path will work. And we give double slash. Image, import is not added, go add it. Next, implement all abstract method shit. Let me use image icon directly. Right, because we are using image icon class. So we created an image icon, closed, and that is what we want to set. Closed is set. Now all we have to see is whether it displays or not. So that image comes onto our button. So now we have colorful buttons. The size we'll see later on, how to make it exact. But for now we have got our buttons ready, but they are not working. Yeah, we need to add function, and we need to add a function in such a way that any button clicked, that function is called, and based on the I and j of our button, it processes our logic. So this is front end. When the game is launched for the first time, we need to have one logic in the backside, which is called model. This is a view. We need a model. That what should it do? It should generate a random board with mines. It should count the neighbors, and then it should have a click method. Whenever we call click here, we'll call click there, and that will change the state of the board. And after the state is changed, this can ask for each button. Is button 00 open? That will say yes, it will open it. It will change the icon. All we have to do is we just change image icons. Because the images folder has 1, 2, 3, 4. That means when a button is opened and it has neighbor count 1, then this is the image to show. That is the logic we have to write. If it is open and neighbor count is 1, then change the image icon to button.setImageIcon 1.gif, 2.gif, 3.gif. And if he clicks and it's a mine, we say exploded. Set image icon, exploded. That it becomes exploded. Rest of the board opens up with all the mines. Flag is for right click. You right click a button, it should put a flag. Again right click, it should remove a flag. So these are the features that we will see are built. So yeah, this is little heavy. In new game what we are doing, but read it twice, thrice, you'll know this is just a logical flow of what we want to do. I'll close it here and we'll resume from here tomorrow.